When I visit a friend's home, I know where the forks are kept. I know which light switch operates which lamp, and exactly how to load the dishwasher. We each have our own ways of doing things, and I try to do things as my friend wants when I'm at her house. When I visit my mother, I try to do things her way. I do the dishes with a little rag instead of with a sponge. I make sure the throw pillows and the couch are exactly placed symmetrically when I leave. I leave the sliding glass door open just an inch for air. When I visit another's home, I put myself in a position of perhaps learning a new way to do things, a way that is just a tad more efficient or just seems to make more sense than the way I'm already doing it. It's how I began drinking from mason jars instead of mugs. And so it is when I visit someone else's mind and heart. When I engage in conversation with someone who thinks or believes differently from the way I think and believe, I'm visiting their world. Choosing to converse with a person whose worldview or political stance or religious belief that is vastly different from mine is exciting to me. Yes, it takes energy, and sometimes I'm mentally exhausted by it, but I know I will come back into balance. The education I receive is usually worth it. It's worth visiting someone else's mental house. Some of the energy I expend is because listening to opposing views puts me in a vulnerable place. A place where I may find myself considering changing my mind. And let's be honest, most of us don't want to have our minds changed. We know we're right, right? The vulnerability opens me to possible annoyance or even hurt, especially if the person speaking is not sharing the same level of active listening that I have chosen. Active listening involves taking in what is being heard, asking questions for clarification, and really truly wanting to understand why a person feels and believes what they do. I experience a lot of conversation where real listening is not happening. Each one of us is simply planning what to say next. I'm guilty of this. And when I recognize it in myself, I silence myself and try to return to true listening. Oh, it's easy when the dialogue is between two people with similar views. Agreement confirms that we are indeed right. Listening with the heart and mind does not require us to explain or defend our position or engage with the speaker, really. It does not carry with it the agenda of convincing the person to change her mind. We carefully listen with one purpose: to understand. What does this have to do with God? Wow, I took a sudden turn there, didn't I? What does this have to do with our spiritual growth and our relationship to one another and to God? Well, understanding one another is the key to moving towards a peaceful community. We don't have to agree on position, but we do have to agree that we all want to understand one another. Because we fear that which we do not understand. Let that sink in. We fear what we don't understand, and we want to eradicate or kill that which we fear. I think of one of my friends who screams loudly if she sees a spider in her home. Someone else must come to her rescue and kill the spider. Now, taking it outdoors doesn't work for her because she knows the spider will just be back in her house again tomorrow. On the other hand, I have several friends for whom killing any living critter is simply not permitted because all of them are our sisters and brothers on this planet. I understand both positions. Here's a quote from Chief Dan George. He was chief of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, located in what is now known as British Columbia. So, more understanding, less fear. Less fear, less killing. Let's take a look at some models and some answers. Jesus. One of the longest recorded conversations that Jesus had was with the Samaritan woman at the well. Now, I said recorded conversations because translations and eyewitness accounts being what they are, it may lead us to concluding that he was a man of few words, and this may be horribly inaccurate. The point is, however, that we can sometimes make a big impact in a few words if the words are chosen carefully. Jesus was an active listener, although he didn't have to be, because he was always right with his teachings about the love of God. But he listened anyway. And he instructed us to do the same. There's a quote in Luke chapter 8, verse 18, where Jesus says, "Consider carefully how you listen." Most of the time, when people engage in verbal back and forth, both are planning what to say next, more than truly listening to the other. First, this happens because we were not taught to listen properly. I remember no class in any subject ever devoted to teaching me how to listen. I picked things up in seminars or readings. And then there's the impatience and the noise in the world. The feeling of totally giving myself over to another person's words requires me to not be watching a clock or to have an urgency of any sort. And the noise of the world? Well, that in itself is enough of a barrier to proper listening, because I believe on some level we are all yearning for silence sometimes. Proper listening involves my dropping the idea that what I have to say is more important than the words of the other. Become truly equal partners in the dialogue. That's what I need to do. I need to ask for clarification to confirm my understanding, and it's not easy, which is another reason that I'm always working on this skill. Now, people in my circle of friends are already talking about the November election. I have volunteered to help out at a political booth in a neighborhood fair this coming week, and maybe that's what brought all this into focus for me. It's easy to find someone with whom I can disagree about hot topics. It's hard to find the patience and skill within myself to properly listen and try to understand. But I'm a work in progress. In this impending national decision called midterm elections, I urge you to listen to one another. When I truly understand why a person is married to an idea, or if I can allow myself to see another worldview, not adopt it as my own, but see through the lens of another, I may find there are ways to deepen my peacemaking effort in the community. It may feel as though I'm alone, especially if there's not deep listening on both sides, but the work of returning to Eden, the work of Christmas, The work of being peacemakers is not easy. We were not promised success, but we must do it anyway. I close with a quote from Mother Teresa, also known as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. She said, "People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you're honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway." When the world gets you down and you need to sit quietly with your eyes closed and your heart open, play this song that is our music recommendation. The lyrics are lovely. The harmonies are even better. It was sent to me from one of my soul sisters named Zena, who resides in Edmonton, Alberta. And she listens to God Talks. Thank you, Zena. Almost forgot to tell you about this Thursday night, 4 o'clock. Well, it's actually late afternoon, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. A book experience that is, I think, life-changing. If you haven't done it already, and I know many of you have who follow the God Talk, this is the book. It's called Earth, Our Original Monastery. It's by Christine Walters Paintner, who lives in Ireland, and this is a dandy little book, 7 chapters, so we do 1 chapter a week, every Thursday from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And it's on Zoom, so anybody can join in. You can call your cousin in Kansas and have her join in with us. It's a wonderful little book study about how to connect with the earth, with, finding your God out with the trees and the plants and the blades of grass and the animals and the lavender that is just now finishing its growth for the season. It says on the back, how can we meet God in our everyday lives? In Earth, Our Original Monastery, Christine, best-selling author and online abbess for the Abbey of the Arts, invites you to begin the journey of contemplative or contemplative living by focusing on the image of Earth as your original place where you learn your most fundamental prayers, participate in each day's liturgy of praise, and experience the wisdom of the seasons. I have taught this book in all 4 seasons, and autumn is one of my favorites. Please join us. If you don't have the book by Thursday, it's okay. You can still love what we're doing in chapter 1 because there are things to try at the end of every chapter. And if you actually try them, you will be changed. You will have a more meaningful fall while we're watching the leaves fall, and all the normal things we've done since we were 4 years old. We'll add to that. Please consider joining us. It's all on our website, calminthechaos.org, on the page called Books. All the details are there, how to order the book, and the Zoom link is right there too. Alrighty, see you then.